We are not ready yet.
We need to get the sign-in out of it.
Fingerprints. Well, like the thing that we did at the national conference, the vote on your phone thing.
Yeah.
That worked pretty well.
Isn't that great? Yeah.
Alrighty, ready whenever you
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, we menti. Okay. Anyways, we'll get started here at 6:32 p.m. Welcome to the July board meeting here. We're on YouTube. Nick is getting that going. Quorum, we have all the board members here, and we thank Kent Taylor for Leland coming back with Maria on vacation. Thank you for sharing the evening with us. Appreciate that. Proof of notice, we did have that up on the boards for 3 or 4 days ahead of time, as well as the email that went out for the reschedule, so that is sent. Prior meeting minutes, I had sent those out from the last meeting. Did anyone have any corrections?
They look good.
Okay, so I will make a motion to waive reading of the prior meeting minutes and approve as presented. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll go through our status reports here, the financial summary and our usual dashboard reporting, and then we'll look at our pressure washing RFP analysis, the tree trimming RFP, intellectual property update, and then security company price increase request after a sit down with the account manager from Allied Universal that happened a couple weeks ago. So moving into financials, looking at the month of June, overall we had basically we ran green and everything. Utilities was basically $400 off of the budget. So essentially we had a net income of $1,900 of net income versus a budget of a projected net loss of $2,300 for the month, which gave us our favorable variance of $4,200, basically $4,200 for the month. Everything seems in line. You see the one thing I did want to point out, I know we had issues with the gatehouse with the security services line item last month, and that was a timing issue on that. So as you can see, we're favorable by 1,000. So that was just the timing of their timesheets coming in and whatnot. So that rectified itself. We're running favorable there. Year to date, as you can see there, from an income side, we're favorable $3,400, which is primarily our any late fee income as well as associated interest we collect on any outstanding assessments. Overall, we're looking here. Everything is pretty much where it should be and what we'd expect. And as you can see from a net income perspective, we're at 11,000 favorable versus a budget which was basically a $1,000 net loss. So we're 12,400 favorable net income versus budget. So again, we're still doing what we have to do and pushing the right buttons to make sure that we're getting the work done, as well as making sure that we're at the end of the day making what I would consider money to keep bolstering where we put this in reserves and whatnot at the end of the year. So for year to date, we're about tracking where I thought we would be at this point from the forecast model. From an expense days, we did have another good holding from our operating surplus there on hand. The 277,000 plus, and our free operating surplus is there. I did end up raising, based on the forecast model and what we're looking at coming up for the last 6 months of the year. Now I'm forecasting that we should have about 475 days of expense surplus on hand, where before that was in the 459 or something like that. So we should be seeing some performance there. Overall, then on the right side, you see our net income. We're at 4.3% year to date. Stretch target will be tough to get to, but we've already eclipsed almost by 2.75x last year's rate. So we're moving in the right direction here overall in the financials through the first 6 months, first half of the year. So we go into our assessments. The assessments here, the big story is we are essentially at the lowest assessment point we have been in the last 3 years. We've collected on a lot of accounts. There's more accounts that came in the past month that we collected, which was what you saw in the performance there on the interest, late fee interest, and late fee income on the previous slide. But you can see there from the monthly stats, we're at the lowest point we've been in a while. Obviously, with the July being a payment, you're going to see that bounce back up as per the usual seasonality. Overall, on the right side, we see our receivable percentage. You know, we always target be at 5 or less percent of our overall revenue. You know, right now, you know, we're under 4 now. So, and we're in pretty good shape overall on that. So, you know, we're managing that collection process effectively and efficiently there, you can see. On the aging dollars here, you can see that there's basically only at the 90 plus days is where we have everything loaded. And that 80%, 81% of our entire outstanding AR balance is with one account, which is in a bankruptcy foreclosure situation and Leland is working on. If you took that out, we would essentially have basically zero outstanding almost. You know, so it's just one account there that we have to be mindful of, as everything else has been pretty much fully collected at this point. So
that's great, Mike. That's really good.
And homeowner count, you can see there, this is the lowest it's been from an overall average rate. It fell, all the categories month over month, which has been, the continued trend that we've been seeing, for the past, I would say 4 months, we've been seeing that. So.
That's good.
Project-wise here, I'll have this dashboard posted out to the website. Hopefully tomorrow. We did have some website outage problems I'll talk to in the IT slide that we experienced yesterday that did not allow for this to move up there yet. But overall, the key items there, the pressure washing, RFP analysis has been completed, which we'll review and get a board vote and see what we want to do on that. As well as the same situation for the tree trimming RFP has been completed, so we just have our review that and what approval of what path we want to take. On the entrance gate refinish, we still have some vendors who are working on a full refinish, their proposal on the exit gates because they are being held to a standard that they need to be able to prove, one, their ability to remanufacture those gates correctly. When we go in and take them in to repair the cracking, do the proper welds, and then do the strip and the powder coat, as well as be able to facilitate some kind of temporary gate solution on there that is not made of wood or some other kind of flimsy thing. So that's really kind of sticking with them. We've got 6 vendors total in the mix. I visited 3 of their shops locally to look at theirs. Based on my background and owning a manufacturing facility, I know what I'm looking for in the steel department there and what they need. The shops are good, they can get it done. It's just how they're going to be able to take them out, install it, transport them. That whole thing needs the transportation, how it's going to get there and back.
How much do they weigh?
They're heavy.
Yeah.
They're steel. Ooh.
They're steel in some spots on the main, and then they're aluminum welds on the others. Yeah. Now the other thing that I've noticed, and when they come out to look at them, is the braces that they sit on, the ones that plug in, into the wall. Those have to be removed and brought off because that's where probably your most significant rusting is. Your surface rust, you can see at where the endpoints are welded in for where the gate sits. And then obviously the bearings underneath of it, with the spindle that sits there to allow the rotation. So hopefully we can get that closed out and at least have something to review next month with all the vendors bringing that forward. So from an online strategy perspective here, we continue. Once we move to this, I think this gives us a much better indicator of how effective we are reaching out to the community and having driving people to the website versus having different things, too many questions flying with too many different parties, answering those questions. So the average time spent on the website, we continue to see an increase there. That's the 3rd month in a row. As we've had, multiple homes, you can probably see when you drive around the neighborhood, multiple homes for sale. As we've been selling through these, the homeowners that are coming in, that's usually one of the first things they're asking is, where's your website? And then signing up for online voting, email registration. They want as much online content as possible. So that's good to see as we kind of move that needle, and hopefully that's going to translate into, when we have to do stuff for printed communication, it'll lower what has to actually go out on that. The pages per visit increased by 16% month over month. I thought that was pretty good. So more people were doing more clicks, basically. And then our bounce rate continues to drop. And essentially the bounce rate is just people trying to log in that aren't associated with it, or different kind of what I call the spam bots that try to go after, on that. So different things have been deployed in terms of hardening the system for any kind of, cyber, DDoS or anything like that. And you're seeing, less of that happen with people trying to, the automated register. I think, you see that on a lot of.
I am not a robot.
Yeah, exactly. That type of thing. So we've already set up those safeguards ahead of time, so you really can't get there, or at least cutting down on the traffic like that. So that's a good thing to see there. And then the other item, as you see, everybody, there seems to be more of a movement towards this month. The desktop and laptop access went down, as well as the phone, but the pads went up. The mobile, speaking right,
Real estate.
yeah, on there. So it's just that trend's going to continue as we go. So, but again, that's the kind of analytics we need as we work towards kind of reworking the website and making sure that the online experience from a mobile application, for mobile device perspective, is as good as somebody who's sitting at home on a desktop or a laptop. I think. Moving into our committee status reports here, ARB. I know you guys had your regular meetings to review submitted applications. I didn't have any major issues, I thought, but Mike, I'll actually, if you had anything you wanted to point out, feel free to.
No, actually, we were all up to date as of lunchtime today. We did get 2 new ARBs filed in the afternoon, so those were distributed by the middle, and so we'll have an ARB meeting next Friday afternoon.
Okay. And that's August 2nd?
August 2nd.
Okay. And I'll update the calendar on the website for that.
Thank you.
Yep. Looking at the covenant violation analysis here, as you can see, month over month we had another decrease of, almost 6% of the open violations that are out there. You can see we've closed, 45, opened 38. So you had a net decrease of, 7. You went from 119 to 112 basically, which again, this is now the 3rd month in a row where, things are falling. Obviously, things are getting done in the community as Leland comes through and takes a look at that, and people are definitely getting more responsive in terms of what, when a violation comes in, they're not waiting and waiting. They're reaching out to somebody, which is essentially what we want to see, on that, so we can get this closed sooner than later. Dirty roofs, you can see there, went down. Landscaping, went up. And then all other, kind of, basically almost flat. But you can see a lot of people are focusing on their roofs at this point in time. There's, more and more people are getting those done. So hopefully we can, get those more in a manageable position than where we started. I would even say probably 4 or 5 months ago, looking at the condition of the roofs.
Yeah.
This one is just our open violations by category. There you see the home exterior, which is essentially the holding pen or category for dirty roofs. That's what's really in there. Landscaping, trash containers, mailbox issues, structures, and then vehicle parking is one outstanding there. But you can see, this is really kind of, again, 89% of the violations are dirty roof and landscaping related. This is essentially holding true to the last 10 years of the analysis, and we broke down that lump of 2008 to 2018 of 1,500 violations were issued, and essentially you're within the acceptable statistical range from what we're seeing right now. So there hasn't been any major changes there. So moving to the social committee here, Nick, is there anything besides I put a note there for the Halloween decorating contest?
Yeah, not currently. We're gonna start throwing ideas around for the Halloween decorating contest. Basically, do the same thing we did last year with our contest, and start writing up ideas of if we want to do theming, if we want to go above and beyond what we did last year, or just keep it the same copy from last year's formula. But other than that, that'll most likely be done and presented at the next meeting.
Okay.
Because I'm still writing all that up.
And if we can work on getting a tentative schedule, like when we want to have the actual picture taking
Yeah.
and then the judging, because if we got to go through the voting again like we did, that was kind of a pain the first, the time we did it, because we came down to the wire and it was essentially
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
basically
very
it was
last
a
minute.
conference call with the vendor and myself working to load all this stuff, late into the night so it can go live when we set it.
Yeah, maybe we can take photos a few days ahead or even a week ahead, depending.
As long as we communicate the date, I think that's the key thing,
Yeah.
because that's.
Well, we send out those postcards anyway, right? And we'll make sure we send out enough emails, and yeah, we'll put it in big letters and big numbers.
Mhm.
The state,
Yeah.
the state, the entire postcard, just the number. All right.
IT committee, since I've been living this, I'll go through it.
Yeah.
We had an outage on the website, and this was what I would characterize as sporadic outage, so it wasn't across all devices, all operating systems, all internet access platforms. Firefox and Chrome were having issues, and then you have some of the phones weren't working from a Google Chrome iOS perspective. So it looks like that has been resolved at this point. One of the things that we had happen, though, is some of the, I guess if you want to call it, the links to all of the documents, how we have it organized, the repository, it got hosed, for lack of a better term, within the outage, and they're trying to do a patch on the fly. So it's been fixed, but again, in order to validate this, I'm going through every single document, opening it to make sure it opens correctly. So I'm about halfway through that. I should have it done tomorrow, but then that'll validate that every document does work out there. Because somebody might click a document. I'm not saying it would happen, but it could after what and it just come up blank white, wouldn't have anything in it.
Yeah.
Because the link was broken. If we have to just restore from our AWS cloud repository, which is easy enough.
Okay.
So we'll work to get that done. From a domain perspective, and then when I say domain, that's the turtlecreekhoa.com. We did end up creating, at the suggestion, I think 2 meetings ago, and implemented another email that'll go on the violation template letter. So again, if you've seen it, you've got Maria's contact information, phone number, email, and then there's another that we're adding another one under there, which is violations at turtlecreekhoa.com. So people can email both, and between both, it will route effectively, to
us too.
yes.
Yeah.
So we'll have visibility. If people have questions, we can get on it, so we can, not leave people stranded out there when they're reaching out trying to ask a question or get some kind of clarification on what letter came or something like that. So that was tested last week and will be in the next, I guess you want to say, iteration of letters that get generated. So, but it is ready to go and tested and implemented in the template. So that kind of covers IT, infrastructure, and access control. I'll do the infrastructure first. Tennis court gates. We did have those locks and handles replaced. There has been an issue where now, since it's not an absolute lock, you can fit your hand in there and open it on the side. Or reach in and do that. So Alden is fabricating a solution to that, and they'll have it installed hopefully in the next week on that, and have it painted and everything so it'll match paint the color and all that, so we can resolve that. So that should be taken care of. Like I mentioned in the pressure washing RFP, we received our responses there. Same with the tree RFP responses. We'll go into the details on both of those in a bit. The new AC unit install was completed on 6/21. They had a follow up on to do some work on that. So that is been running without issue ever since. So
Good. Finally.
and I told them, because it's increasingly important with the heat and the guys in there as well as our machinery. They're going to come out and check it every month until October, just to make sure everything is running fine. We don't have, just kind of as a preemptive or proactive maintenance approach to it, to make sure we don't have any issues with the new configuration. Both fountains stopped working last week at various points. We do have lake fountains coming out. I think the front fountain, is probably the easier fix, because there must have been a lightning strike, because we had the timer box for the irrigation got roasted up there, as well as we had to do a hard reset for the landscape lights, which is usually got tripped. So I'm thinking something hopefully like that happened. So I have not gotten a call back from Lake Fountain yet, but Angela did confirm we're on the list. They're working through weather and everything else, trying to figure out, because everybody's getting behind, obviously, with the weather here if you're outside. Let's see, the entry gate, we did have a issue with one of the circuit boards or sensor boards. As you probably could notice over probably about a week, we had an issue, and then it just finally stopped. That did get replaced this past Monday, and we have not had any issues with that. We don't know if that was either lightning related or not either. So, but again, that was covered. That's a warranty item. We just paid for the labor.
Okay.
But I know it's a pain in the butt, especially when you're trying to manage all those cars when you have one of those gates down, like they did for multiple days. So
Yeah.
the guys and gals up there did a good job in terms of managing traffic flow when they were down one side, especially the guest side.
Yeah.
Let's see. Access control. Before I pass it to you, Nick, for your thoughts, I'll just hit the highlights here. We have a new guard. She's been on the post for, I'd say, 2+ weeks. I want to say her name is Jasmine.
Yeah.
She's been filling the slot that we've had the most problems with, that kind of 16 or 24-hour slot through the week, only about 3 shifts. Alan, in his conversations with me, says, she's workable, she's capable. She, still learning some of the things, but she hasn't, obviously went to 7-Eleven to get a drink or anything at that point, or just, fell asleep or something like that. So that's always a plus.
Or just left.
Yeah.
Or just left.
Yeah. So hopefully, I consider, if we can get that locked down, I think we can kind of calm the waters a bit up there.
Yeah.
Because I know you look at Alan, and then Carmelo had his issue that he had to go through. I definitely don't want to compromise the health of these guys for trying to kill themselves covering our shift when it's really on the vendor to figure this out, type of thing. So hopefully she continues to work out well, because she is definitely somebody who said, she even told me if I can get more hours, I'll get more hours. So if somebody needs a day off,
Oh, that's good.
and like I told Alan, if you need an extra day off, just plug her in if you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So we just need to remind her, because she's new, probably she's very nice.
Really nice.
Okay. Yesterday I saw behind me a car belongs to a resident, but without a sticker. She just let them pass.
Okay.
Probably she knows the driver, that's why she let them pass, but they didn't have a sticker on their car.
Okay.
So just we need to remind her that she has to be more strict, or
To reinforce.
reinforce our rules and regulations, so that
Yeah, we could let Alan know, so that goes all the way around the board with all of them.
Yeah, and I think it's always good to remind folks, because I think they might be
Do
getting
get it
comfortable.
familiar and
Yeah.
really.
All right, I'll make a note of that, and we can talk to Alan. Nick, if you want to talk to him.
Yeah, I can talk to him. Just remind him. I know we've had an on and off about that. About get on decals, and then okay, just give it a break and get back on decals. So
And the other item here, the last item that I had as a note, and I mentioned we sat down with the account manager for Alley Universal, looking at pricing, looking at our I guess you want to say our concerns with staffing and all that.
How'd that meeting go?
It went well. Yeah, let me try a better way. No, I mean, again, Jose is a little bit of I don't want to say he's a little bit he struck me as not engaged, but he did bring all the data that I had asked for ahead of time, which, again, I appreciate that, because that led to the conversation we had on pricing. And I know that he's been getting whipped because of the merger and all the changes they've had with their folks there. So I kind of cut him a break, which is rare for me, but I did at that point, and said, okay, we can work through this and take a look at it. But obviously, I don't think that when we review the slide, I don't think it determines us to stop the parallel path we're running with developing an RFP to look at other security companies at this point.
Especially with asking for increase.
Yes, exactly. So, but again, that's preview of coming attractions with the slides. Nick, is there in your conversations with folks up there anything that you gleaned that I did not.
At this point, we have a pretty decent stability up there. Nothing major. The AC was a big concern. The summer was starting to come around, and we all know how hot it can be during the summer. So they're happy. It boosted morale of a lot of them that they had an AC that was actually working, that they could turn off without being afraid that it wasn't going to come back on. So they're happy with that. It's good. Everything's quite stable up there for now. Like you said, it's still good that we remain on the idea of the what is it called, the
RFP.
that we keep that in mind. But for now, we have calm waters up there. So
Yeah.
no red flags, thankfully.
Mhm.
Hopefully it'll stay that way for a little while.
All right, that covers the committee business here, so we'll move into our continuing business items. Pressure wash analysis. We had this and a couple other RFPs we were approved to release. Maria had sent out the RFP on the 27th of June. We had a vendor conference on July 2nd, and everybody got back within about a week. I think we had put down a week or so for them to come back. So this is just the annual item that we do relative to sidewalks, curbs, aprons, top of the drain areas, things, the normal. So we sent it out to 4 vendors. We got responses from all 4, which that's the first time I think I've had that happen in a while, getting a 100% response rate. And they all followed the response format for the RFP. They were all at the vendor conference. They all confirmed the scope, via writing. All of their insurance has been confirmed through Leland, and everything is buttoned up there. Contacted their references, and obviously if they're references, 99% of the time they check out, so they checked out. And they've all been previous Turtle Creek vendors, except for pressure washing guys, which Maria added to the mix, which they seem like a good organization from the folks that the individual they sent to do the RFP, the vendor conference and talking with them. So I'm glad we have them on our list, as potential future. But if you look at it, DNA Building Service has been our primary vendor for this work for the last 3 years, and I still don't understand how the hell they make money. But this is in line with what they charged last year. $11,229, and everybody else was hovering around $20,000, and Vice Painting coming in close to $30,000. So, and all of these folks, they don't use our water; they get the water meter from Orange County. So this is also inclusive. They cover the water. So, again, this is they're consistently lowest cost on their building services, and they're looking to expand in other areas of their business. And I, told Rudy Perez, who's the account manager for this area, I said, if you guys continue this, you're going to put a lot of people out of business. Because I don't know how you're going to do our community for $11,000, but I don't ask.
And we know they do a good job.
Yeah, we've never had an issue with them. They come in, they can get the job done. It's done right. They've come back multiple times when we're trying to get out some of the hard water staining that we, can ask for or something. Good group to work for overall. So, I guess is there any opinion on any of the other vendors? I think this one's kind of a clear cut.
Yeah. Fire system for the water?
They hook it into the because they've got
One meter on it,
the big meter, and they stick it on there. So, if there's no discussion, I'll make the motion to approve the DNA Building Services RFP price of $11,229 to be taken from reserves for our community pressure washing project. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so I will work with Rudy and get a schedule. And I don't know how the weather impacts them, but we'll see on their schedule where they're at. And as I say that, it's bright and sunny out again.
Yeah.
Next up, we'll look at the tree trimming here. What I had, and this was something we were looking to get done for a while, but Brightview Arbor Care has a new arborist who came in from Chicago at one of their larger offices because Arbor Care has been going down in their business in this area, and they brought her in specifically to kind of help rebuild and whatnot. She spent basically an entire day on site, and she has put in, and you can see from the map, and there's a larger map, you can blow it up in the file. She's inventoried every single one of our common area trees, as well as what type of tree it is. So we have essentially a full inventory of all of our trees, where they're located, and she's going to be sending along the GPS coordinates for all of it. So now you can see we actually have, 259 southern live oaks, 43 swamp laurels, 25 slash pines at the front, 19. I mean,
we didn't pay anything for her to do all this work.
and this is why you hire arborists to come do this.
Right.
This is what we're looking at. But this was part of their package that they put together. So again, this saved us money big time, because now we know where everything's at. We have
It's a lot of information.
Where it is and what it is.
Yeah.
That is a lot of
Did they
information.
put an identification number for each tree?
Yeah.
Usually it's like a serial number for tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll have that. They'll have that. They'll have it in this. But I said I need it as not just an interactive map. I need it as a some kind of Excel spreadsheet. So they're going to have the tree serial number, the locations, the GPS, and they'll have all that information. Then we'll have a file moving forward on that. So that'll help us. And every other year, every 3 years, maybe update it to see if we had any. If we have a hurricane, if we lose anything, you can see the progression of the trees on that.
Yeah.
And that's something that also I'll have to figure out how to share it correctly on the website. Mike from the ARB, I'm trying to create a section in there, like you guys can look at the pictures of the homes and then have this as interactive, so you can actually see trees that are there, type of thing. Because this is.
But these are common area trees, right?
Yes, but you'll see. But again, if people are saying, well, I've got this common area tree here, this and that, you can at least see what you can. One, see if the tree's there, and then two, what species it is too. I mean, just another data set to help out.
Information is key.
And to manage the infrastructure going forward.
Yep.
So with that, we're looking at our analysis here. We had the RFP distributed on the same day. We had the vendor conference on July 8th. We sent it to the list there. We had some people, Popka Tree Service and Clear Cut declined a bid. I don't know why. We haven't received a response as of 7/24 for Windsor. EnviroTree requested additional time on that. They said they had run into some issues with one of the people who was working on the proposal, and they just requested a little extra time to fill it out, but they wanted to play a part in it. Brightview came in, as well as Advanced Tree Pros, who were the ones who did it last year on that. So they were the vendor of record last year. So if we look at Advanced Tree Pros, because that's the most straightforward, obviously we know them. They confirmed the scope. Their insurance is confirmed through Leland, and we've used them before. For our scope on the common area road trees, it's $27,000, a little over $27,000 for what we would be looking to raise the over the road canopy to 20 feet and raise the walkway canopy to 12, which is higher than we usually go. But we need to get it higher at that point, and then do your pruning on the crown and that to take out the sail effect on that.
So what is the Brightview pricing? So it's variable or what?
You're jumping ahead on me.
Oh, sorry.
Moving to Brightview,
Okay.
they have they have basically, I put a range between the 23,440 and basically 23,000 to 33,000. Let's just keep it easy. Basically, if you go into each of those trees, there's a specific, what they're recommending to do to it. Either no trim on the crown, advanced pruning. She went through and she figured out exactly that. So you can say.
So she analyzed every one of these trees.
So if you did nothing that she recommended and just did the crowning and some of the light pruning, it would be 23. If you did everything she said, which was over the everything.
It's customization.
Yeah.
It's the customized. Okay.
It would go to 33. But she said if you go through, we can sit down and go through the list, and you just pick, go through what do you want, and then that would adjust the price. So you could have, it could come in at 30,000, it could come in at 26,000. It all depends on how much you want to do to each of the trees and everything. So I guess it was in looking at this and talking with the vendors. I recommend I sit down with Brightview, we'll refine that proposal, see what the actual solid number is
I think it's
on
worth
that.
doing that.
and then and give grant the extension to EnviroTree to see what their number comes in at. I mean, who knows? They could be cheaper or have something else.
Yeah.
But again, at this point, since we have one solid bid, we would just do a not to exceed approval based on the advanced tree pro figure of the $27,048. If you look at last year, what we spent, it was $26,870. It's about the same. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm interested in seeing what she has to say, because maybe there's some trees that really need to be done that would put us a little bit over that, but it really needs it.
It'd be more of a help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to understand more of her customized.
Yeah, and that's going to take a few days to get done. But at least if we go through that customization and it's at 27,048 or less, then if we do the contingent approval at that point, then we can just move
but
forward.
if it's more,
If it's
then
more,
we
then
would.
we have to reconvene and we'll reapprove it at a
Let's
different
do
price,
that.
as well as a kind of an explanation of what's driving the price and whatnot.
Right, exactly. Okay. So we need a motion for.
You need a motion for a not to exceed amount for the tree trimming project of make it 27,100.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So we'll email EnviroTree and see where they are. I can pass that along as soon as I get it, see where their number comes in at, and then we'll reach out. Her name is Jennifer of Brightview, to go through it. Right now, it's a little hard to see what she has because you have to click each tree and it opens up and it tells you. I need it in a spreadsheet. That's
So in case we approve everything, when they will do it?
That's the next good question. Schedule. I mean, advanced tree pros can start in about a week and a half. Arbor Care, if I know them on this size of job, they'll bump it to the front and probably can get it started within 5 to 7 days.
So I mean, the season is it the right time of the year to do the trimming?
Yep, everybody's doing the trimming.
No.
This one, everybody. Yep.
They just need to make weather. It's gonna slow it down, put everybody behind.
Because you're still at the front end of hurricane season, so you're not really at
Yeah.
I thought we should do it before the hurricane season
Right.
starts. And the hurricane
Yeah,
season
we're-
is June, right?
Yeah, but that's close, isn't it? August?
We're close enough in the first quadrant. If you look at historically where the hurricanes fall within this area, it's always towards the last, you want to say, quartile of the year. So you did have extra time to do this up there. And that's why a lot of people are doing it now, because you're just getting your usual downfall rain here.
Yeah, and maybe getting rid of all these branches, like weak branches, so that in case
Yeah, the little branches that fall.
strong winds, then they will fall and they will create.
But if you look at what we,
Yes.
it's more of a landscape mess than an issue, because if you look at the winds we've had and some of the stuff, we don't really have any major limbs fall. We trim these things every year.
No, we have we had trees.
Yeah, so we take care of them. So they
The
are.
other one in the entrance,
Oh,
40
right.
trees there for.
Yeah.
We had like 3 trees, right? We lost.
Yeah, we lost a lot of trees last time, yeah.
Trimming,
No,
you
that's
know,
not.
so that's
It's
just.
just the type of tree.
But if you're looking at those live oaks at the roadway, those are the big ones.
Yeah.
But I'll go back and ask them what their, give me best and final when they can start. Both of them said they'll take 8 to 9 days to do the entire project. So
That's it.
8, 9, yeah.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
they can get in there and get it going and get it done. It's just the start time. I gotta see where we slot on start time. So I'll have that as a follow-up note here.
Mike, on your motion, is that from operating or?
Reserves. Sorry about that.
So did she identify any sick trees?
Not one.
Wow,
She did not recommend removal of any of the trees.
that's nice.
She said, well, obviously there's the palm, the canary palm, or not the canary palm, the Washingtonian palm that's behind the water's edge sign that's dead. And I think there's another one on the other side that is on our sliver of easement. We already have a quote from Arbor Care to come take it out. So that should be done hopefully on Monday. Well, they'll take that out.
And what are the pine trees?
Pine trees?
Yeah.
We've already gotten rid of all the dead ones,
I mean, those are all healthy at this point, because we did take out 7 or 8 of them earlier in the year.
Yeah.
We haven't seen any degradation. Obviously, if wind kicks up, I always go up there and find one because they're planted too close together.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess they're getting more room because over the last 4 or 5 years, we have taken out
Reduce the.
Reduce.
10, 12.
Yeah, from falling or whatnot and all the rest of the stuff. But Yeah, but she said the pines up there are fine because, you know, if you go up there, there's nothing really looking dead on the tips. You just have some that look a little bit too close together, which is where you get the weakness and the falling. But even that's more towards, if you're looking at the pines like this, it's not by the playground area, it's more over this side, by that walkway where you can cut through the water.
And that's where they're more clustered too now.
Yeah, because you lost all the ones or you lost that clustering effect in the playground area section on that. So, all right, I will. I've got the notes here to follow up on what we have to do, and then I will keep everybody in the loop as to what we find out on that. Next up, our brand assets or intellectual property. I know we've talked about this previously, but are looking at our community logo and the neighborhood logos that came with the developer. We've worked with the attorneys to get the trademarks out there, and you actually have the. If you go into Explore Turtle Creek or About Turtle Creek, each of the neighborhoods now has their logo out there, as well as how many homes are there, as well as the average square footage for the home. So trying to get some information out there for prospective buyers. Would also like to make sure that we move our covenants out there as they are in the bylaws, because people need to look at that before they make a decision. As well as I'd also like to get a new homeowner link there so they can at least get the link to when they're a new homeowner to at least identify, hey, I'm a new homeowner, I just bought this house, I need,
There's hyperlinks for everything.
this, and this, but at least comes to myself, Maria, anybody else we designate on the board, because this whole paper thing that, Alan has this paper thing, and then we get another paper thing, and they're all different formats from all different eras, and it's got to be common and standard at this point.
Yeah.
So, that I'm working to get that done in terms of with the IT folks at Leland, but obviously I was hoping it could be done this week. Looking at next week with the outage that we have.
Like another thing we're starting to do with the community is advance notification or certification that you're planning to sell your home.
Okay.
So that you're putting the association on notice, you're planning to sell, and you're trying to get some of that paperwork started in advance so that we also know you're selling your home, so then you give them the package to give the realtor or prospective buyer so that they've got a lot more information up front. Sometimes we don't find out until somebody moves in.
And the other thing too, I thought that might help, that would help, would be you would know where you should be getting a stop request at that point.
Attack it from both ends,
That's a good idea.
Advance of sale, and the new owner also has a way to get information. So, hey, I'm coming in.
Yep, agree. All right, I'll add that to the list to kind of build out there, what we can get. The other item then are the domain names. Obviously, we have turtlecreekhoa.com. I went out there, I renewed it for longer, so now it does not expire until 2028. So we don't have to worry about that ever, or somebody else can worry about that in 2028. We also locked up turtlecreekhoa.info and hoa.net through 2022, since they're associated with, obviously, our main domain. One, you want to pull those off the market so somebody doesn't use them and you have some kind of crazy crap going on and somebody types it in, you go to, hurts the brand. And then the other thing is, from a mobile application standpoint, as well as when we do testing, I would like us to be able to use one of those, if not both of them, as a sandbox and a quality test assurance before we move everything to production. Because right now we're doing stuff on the prod side and just move it in, and basically you're testing in production, which that's not the right way to approach it from a quality perspective on that. So hopefully we can get that built out, and that's forthcoming then, because we can hook in the Amazon Web Service stuff into that, so you can have an exact replica of each of them, and then have the securities pinned down, and then even if we don't intend to use them for that purpose, you'll just have a forwarding URL and have them just, anybody types it in, would just go to the main at that point. So that was taken care of this past month also. Any other continuing business that I missed from our side? Okay. New business, Allied Universal price increase. So, like I said, we sat down with Jose. Obviously, we expressed the issues that we've been having, kind of the lack of satisfaction and overall uneasiness in the direction of where the Allied Universal was going with the continued churn of our, one slot that is, it's impactful because, again, this is something, this is the first thing guests see when they roll up is the guard coming out of the gatehouse or the guard not in the gatehouse, one of the two. But in any event, we sat for about 2.5 hours going through this. And he basically kind of take me through the whole, spiel on, because price increases have been requested the past 3 years by Allied Universal, and we've subsequently denied them making any changes. We've opted to, update or I guess provide pay raises to specific guards, Alan, Dionysius, at various intervals when we thought that, it was necessary. I was surprised to learn that the last time we did any kind of change was in late 2018, or excuse me, early 2000. Excuse me, let me rephrase. 2017, 2018 is when they last requested a price increase on the contract.
I remember that.
So, and that was 3.5 or 4.5, forget whatever the percent was, across the board. And at that point, they were merging, and they kind of, didn't answer any questions because they said, okay, what's going to be the bill increase versus the wage increase? Because if all you're doing is taking it at the top end to cover your merger costs, I'm not interested in giving any money if the guys who are actually doing the work aren't getting anything. So he understood that, and we worked back and forth on, I can do this, and basically I told him he's going to have to do better, which the next day he did send better stuff out. Imagine that. So basically, right now we pay our site supervisor, Alan. His current wage rate is $13 an hour, and his bill rate is $17.39 an hour. We're proposing that we move Alan up $1 an hour to $14, and then you'd have your bill rate go to $19.97 an hour. Basically, that would be a 7% increase on the wage rate side and about a 13% increase on the bill rate side. Now, I know that brings him more in line with Angela, and what she makes and what she gets billed out, because she is a site supervisor, or coded as a site supervisor because she works one-off special events and everything, and she has her own team.
Yeah.
She just likes working in the Turtle Creek Post on that. That would be on the Allen side there. And then from a regular officer, so this would cover Carmelo, basically Carmelo and Jasmine at that point. Dionysius is on his own pay structure, basically, because he's been with it forever. And he's basically coded as a site supervisor, even though he's not. So he'd be getting the same thing like as an Allen on that increase. So we would have the security officer, let's say Carmelo, going from an average wage rate. His wage rate is $9.50 an hour. His bill rate's $14.72 an hour. We take him up $1, $10.50, and then $15.81. Which again, he is about 9.5% on the change in wage rate versus 6.9% on the change in the bill rate.
That's a good deal.
That was a better. That one you can take down because those are the
Well, it's been 2 years since we've given him a raise, right? So we should most likely make it equivalent to the fact that if we've given them raises at the appropriate times.
Yeah,
right?
but on that, I would say that this is bringing us more in line to the middle to upper middle of the pack of security services. What we don't want to do is over incentivize. Whereas we're now we're going to trying to go into a new contract or something, and you've got your pricing skewed too high.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's one of the things that some people they get the once a year merit raise or something. That doesn't really happen in the security services. Is more based upon the contractual things. They might come back every year, but the majority of the folks that I talk to at other HOAs, every 2, 3, even 4 years is when they approve increases to a contract. Now, a lot of them say, yeah, we understand that really puts a pinch on people and we churn through them. and they were surprised to hear, that we have these guys here as long as we have, kind of a core crew. So, I mean, I guess in my opinion, the guys deserve it. I'm not questioning
No question
at
about
all.
that. No question at all.
And I guess, based upon, like I said before, we're not going to stop looking at developing a robust RFP to get out there and look at other options. But, that's going to take a couple months. We just can't, this is not, we're not picking up and, doing something quick and easy. So I guess, if this would help the morale of the guys up there for sure, as well as, I don't want us to get a situation where we try to save a few dollars here for a couple of months and stretch it, and Alan finds another job, he's gone, and now we've got a massive vortex up there. And that's a problem because there is no one to slide into Alan's spot like we had previously, from Steve to the other gentleman to Alan. You always had somebody in the waiting, you had the pipeline. We don't have that. That would be a problem, unless you count Angela, but I don't know if she's fully committed to Allied Universal either.
I just want to, the only thing is we need to just keep in mind that if we give them a raise, it's been 2.5 years. When they are told what that is, we want it to be some sort of like, oh, I got a raise, instead of, oh, 2.5 years and this is what I got. What are the averages? Because we want to make sure we're giving them fair value. What are the averages around the industry? Is that fair for them?
Yeah, you will see some of the boutique firms go higher, but the Securitases of the world, those larger, Pinkerton, whatever you want to call them, they are paying between $14 and $17.50 for supervisors, and security officers between $10 and $13 from the analysis that was done. So I mean, you're like I said, you're not at the high end. You're in the middle to upper. If you look at a bell-shaped curve, we're probably in that one quadrant here before you get to the the tail. And I think that's the right thing to do. Is they got to have something. I mean, Carmelo's mentioned it to me. Alan's mentioned it to me. He's mentioned it to you, Nick. I mean, these guys are getting a little bit demoralized by not.
They ask for it.
Unfortunately, it's come around that point where I constantly check with them, and I'm asking them, how can things improve? Are there issues? Because if I'm not asking them, they might not say it. So I'm bringing it up, and they've hinted along the lines of like, hey, well, it's been a while since we've had any raises. Is it because of issues with how we're working? And I'm like, I'll go check. So they're hinting at it that morale's getting low because of pay. So no, it isn't, and that's why when they're going to get this raise, we need to boost morale, and I don't want it to make them feel like.
But I mean, we've given them bonuses and things like
that's
that,
true.
so
That's
that
true.
morale shouldn't be so low, right?
Yeah.
We've
It's not as
been very good.
but
Yeah.
I think anybody gets.
I mean, I'm just a
And
hello.
and to be honest, it's, to be honest,
more money every day.
So can we increase, like, let's say the security officer, $9.50 now, going $1, right?
Yep.
But if we can increase, like, instead of $1, we do it 1.5, without changing the average bill rate.
Okay, so basically we go 1.5, you go to
11,
and still keep the proposed bill rate of
15.81.
That sounds reasonable.
like
Tell the
a
company you don't want them to take the profit.
That's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is.
Well,
And the most reason for morale being down is not just pay; it's also a bunch of other things like the AC unit that was down. So it's not like it's the number one, but it's a bunch of stuff that's weighing
And
down on
Mike,
them.
I mean, is there any negotiation for the Allied, the company, to give up 50 cents
Like
an hour or
just-
something, right? I mean, do they have to keep that margin? Can they?
I'm not concerned about the market.
I know.
Yeah,
So
right.
see,
Yeah,
what I'm saying is, we
exactly,
want to
yeah.
come back and do
So
more and
we-
say, you
we-
share some of this
Yeah,
cost
we
with
can tell
us,
them
right?
that we agree on the proposed average bill rate increase,
Mhm.
but we need to increase more for the.
And that their income's less.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Because their increase is 12.9%, which is a huge increase.
That's big.
Yeah,
That is a big-
for the
Comparing
site
to
supervisor.
7.1 for the employee, for the
Right.
staff member.
right.
Yeah, I can sell them.
So we can increase a little bit the change of wage rate and decrease the change bill rate so that they are equal. They go up equally.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it'll be
Well, and
like
then
18 or
also we're
something.
giving them more without us paying for all of that
Exactly,
more,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the security officer then is what I'm hearing that we would have a counter proposal to this thing. We go from $9.50, which is the current wage rate that they get,
To 11.
to 11,
Yeah.
and we would for their proposed bill rate would say the same at 15.
Yeah, 15 to 1.
Exactly, yeah.
And then I'm not sure about the supervisor, 13 to 14. Yeah, the supervisor also, there is a room for change, like
Another half a buck or so.
13 to 14 and a half or 15 even,
Yeah.
and keep their rate to 19.97,
Yeah.
which is like around $5 they are getting for each officer, which is
Right.
like more than 25%.
That's 25% hit. That's
Yeah,
right.
25% of the
Exactly.
shift.
So we go to 13 to 14.50.
Mm-hmm.
No, 15.
So we have 2.
Yeah, we all know they're worth the value with all the overtime they're doing.
Mhm.
So they're worth it.
Exactly.
They've stuck with us even through the worst.
We've got a lot of the amusement parks and others that are
Yeah,
$15 an hour.
Yeah.
Sure.
And what we're seeing is that it's eroding these kind of jobs because they can go get a $15 an hour job.
Yeah, well, and that's
At
going to be
Disney,
the minimum soon, right? They're
And
pushing for
Universal's
that to be
sucking them
the.
up too.
And your argument can be like we are like competition in this
Yeah.
field that they are paying 15, so you should also pay them 15.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
may
you're
be
right.
required
You're right.
before long, right? Aren't they trying to
Yeah,
pass
they can
that?
come around pretty quick.
Mhm.
I can just tell you that looking across all the security companies we have, which is a lot of different ones, we're seeing a lot of turnover. And the people that we're getting
Yeah.
at $9.50, $10 an hour, they're young, usually young people. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you know, it's their first job and they don't have the skills and the people skills, and so we're seeing some erosion in
The burn rate's
service
going to be
levels.
high.
Yeah.
I mean, you're seeing also people, I mean, start at, well, I mean, you can go to Lucky's Market and start at $10 an hour.
Yeah.
You know, and that, I mean, you want to stand in a field all day here for 9, and this isn't even their starting.
Yeah.
Their starting is lower than the 950, on that. You know, and then there have been instances where, you know, I've talked to a couple people in, outside the villages, HOAs and their sub-associations, they've had guards and they've left, and then they go to Walmart and they see the guy working at Walmart. I'm like, well, why are you working
Yeah.
here? Like, I get paid more here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's hard
And
for...
benefits also.
Yeah, and I mean,
Benefits,
the retention is difficult, and, you know, I mean, there really isn't a hell of a lot in terms of what Allied Universal offers as a value add on the admin side, because, you know, you could...
I was going to say, what do they really do?
You could, in theory, I mean, I guess if you wanted to even run a proposal to put a straw man together, you could see if you could just bring it in-house.
Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah.
I mean, we have the capability with Leland to run, you know, to run it in-house. I mean, with all the man, I mean,
Yeah, do you have any HOAs that are doing that?
No, we don't.
With ruts?
You'd want to look closely at your burden, your payroll costs. And all
Yeah.
Right.
And
but
that.
it's at that point it's worth it, because if we can do that analysis to see what would be the payroll burden here.
Well,
That
if it's
they're charging.
12%.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly,
If it's 12%.
12.9, which is
Yeah.
guaranteed.
Certainly worth looking at.
Yeah, I mean, but that would at least provide a point of analysis around, okay, this would be our, if you want to call it, administrative burden. Here's the operation, overhead, and here's the payroll, all the goodies that come with that.
Mhm.
They're going to have something similar. I mean,
Yeah.
it
They have to.
is. I mean, it is what it is. The only people that, you know, you have, 40 hours, you have Venetius, Carmelo, and Alan would be the healthcare. Everybody else would not have required healthcare
Right.
put out to offer or anything. So, I mean, you can get away from that, because I don't know what they do, but I mean, it's one of those things you can look at. Just to,
Well, I think
It's gonna be a lot for
going
us
through
to
this
take on.
RFP process will bring out some of the admin functions that these companies offer. We could maybe, analyze it from that, continue down our RFP.
and I know that some of the folks, Securitas, and now Allied Universal is trying to sell their own, they want to call it gate management,
Mm-hmm.
kit, software, and all that kind of stuff. that's where their real margins are at.
Well, that's,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's it,
And
yeah.
that's why I want to keep us independent from locking into a specific software program that is required for U.S. or not, Allied Universal or Securitas. I mean, we should be able to lift and shift and go anywhere we want
Yeah.
in terms of, modular plugins on this. But I can take it. I'll take it back to him and see what he comes back with. I mean,
Yeah, the only thing that they may object that currently they are getting, for example, from security officer, around $5.22, right? With the increase, they will get from each officer only $4.81.
Right.
I mean, their profits will decrease, but the paycheck for the officers will increase.
Right, and they would keep the contract.
Right.
Yeah.
They keep the business.
Yeah.
So you want the business?
I mean, I think if our officers are happy, then we will not have issues. Then maybe we don't need to change the vendor.
no, I mean that. If
Well, let's see what they say.
Yeah, it
We'll
still
do
comes
the RFP.
still comes back to like the they don't have any backups and reliability. I mean that's a whole different.
And I know Alan
topic,
has expressed
but,
frustration at the back office operations there, paychecks getting messed up, hours not right, overtime not being paid on time. That kind of stuff really, pisses off the employees.
But this happens everywhere,
Yeah,
I know.
I was gonna say, you're gonna have
especially in
that.
this field,
Yeah.
All right, so what I'll do is, just to recap, for the shift supervisor, I'll ask to move it from 13, is that 15?
Yes.
And then we'll say we'll agree to the proposed bill rate of 1997.
Yes.
Should just round to 20,
Yeah, just
make it easy.
those 3 pennies.
And then on the other, because then I'll show we're giving something.
Oh look, we're offering you 3 shiny pennies.
Because you can do the same thing then with the rate.
Yeah, to make it 16.
16.
Yeah.
See, I mean that's a big jump, man.
That's
19
nice.
cents an hour. So, all right.
They're gonna be thrilled.
Yeah, I mean, we are
They're gonna be
even more
thrilled.
than what they asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You exceeded
So
expectations.
they
Yeah.
extra $1.20 a week.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing.
Hey,
Might as well, right?
You don't want to take a little bit of a hit on the property. You take the loss and the whole job.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I'll summarize that and get it to Jose
Yeah.
and give him a call. So it could be like a week on his
Yeah.
timetable.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he's got to answer to somebody. Because
Sure.
if it's like every other corporate merger, they're trying to figure out synergies and they're going to just
Oh, exactly.
everything has a minimum delivery on margin.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, considering how much we spend, I mean, 144,870.
Yeah, it's a big contract, yeah.
I mean, that's I'm
Yeah.
assuming that's a large contract.
And we've been with them how long?
Like,
Yeah,
they were viewers. That was-
We've got some history with them, so
Well over 50.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
might want to also, work with Jose off and on for a long time.
Mhm.
You might want to also reach out to the senior vice president and vice president in this area. Because I think coming from you,
Mhm.
a higher level will probably help him make that argument.
Right.
Yeah.
You can do that. So, yeah, because they have a new one. I don't know. Did you ever work with Mike Walton?
No.
Okay, yeah, he got fired. So they have a new one.
Same turnover and the higher levels as well.
Yeah, I mean they're crushing everything together, and I know they have a over on Kirkman. That's where their office is. I might just have to show up. I don't know who to call.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll love seeing me. Okay.
So one of the other techniques I used not too long ago is we got like Maria in the room and he and regional manager and I had gotten a count that showed all the business we do with them across 200 associations.
Mm-hmm.
So that seemed to have some influence on them. So you might want to think about what tools that Maria could help us
That's a
with
great idea.
Yeah.
too, because it's just not your business. I mean, there's a lot of business that they do
Mm-hmm.
through Leland.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'll ask
Yeah, that's a
Maria
good point. Yeah.
Oh,
That's a great idea. Nice.
give you more leverage.
yeah, because I know Maria talks to Jose on a couple other accounts too, or tries to talk to
Yeah.
them.
And I've been down this path with them particularly a couple times, and the answer is usually a fairly fast no. That's just why I think if you get up at a little higher level, you might be able to help that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And having a relationship with that person, you know, really help as well.
For sure.
All right. Works. I will get that going then. I'll let you guys know as soon as I hear something. Hopefully we get it at least done, hopefully done sooner or later, because I want to deliver something to the guys.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We told them.
They're like I said, they're pretty stable up there now.
Yeah. You know, again, nothing moves fast when you've got multiple iterations of
No, of
rounds
course
of
not.
negotiation. So, all right. That was it for the new business. Is there anything else from the board and new business? All right. Brings that to the end. So I will open it to the floor. Do we have any questions from the floor? Yes, sir, Paul.
Yeah, I came to discuss a couple of issues. Number one, I sent you an email the other day, a couple of emails about one house in particular, which is a house that I unfortunately have to walk by when I walk my dogs. It's a rental house. I think it's 10-849.
49, I think.
Yeah, Emerald Chase. This is, I think, a rental property. The renters there tend to dump trash on the yard. And then if they pick it up, unfortunately, otherwise it blows around. And this is something they just do as a matter of practice on a daily basis. And I don't understand why they do it, but I have to walk by and see it every day. This is, I think you guys have done some letters to the owners on this.
Yes, we've done letters to the owners. I actually did, after I sent you a response, basically following up where, in the violation process it is, I emailed the owner with the pictures, because I also had other pictures that I took when I went by.
I've got a comment.
Yeah, it's not hard to see. So I'm waiting on a response on that. I'll follow up tomorrow. Tomorrow's my admin day and see where it is and see if we can get something at least done, either get the stuff cleaned up or at minimum, he's going to have to make a change with whoever the renter is, because we can't continue to have trash blowing around, because it's even going into whoever lives behind them, because I've got complaints from them, trash.
There's a canal behind it.
Or on the side where it's going into other people's yards and stuff. It's everywhere. It's a mess.
Yeah, and there's a barrel that's right behind the bushes. They leave the barrel open. They don't put it in the barrel. They literally just open the door to the car and drop it on the ground.
Yep.
So it comes out the passenger side, comes out the driver's side. They just dump it.
Sounds like rentals.
All the time.
Yeah.
Is it like landscape trash or?
No.
Trash. Yeah.
Wow.
Burger King. it just
So
blows
we've
everywhere.
sent them letters, so they're going through that process, right? Okay.
But again, they're renters, so if I can have the homeowner.
The other thing.
Well, the
that you
homeowner will
see-
be notified soon enough, right?
They
As
are.
it starts- yeah.
The other thing that you see is they get delivery of bottled water, which sits on the front stoop. And then they take the water out and leave the wrapper on the front stoop.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I believe they're doing it to spite you folks. I mean, they really do it for a spite. So there's garbage and trash all over the place. And then they put stuff in plastic bags, might put it out on a Friday and leave it there. And animals will rip the stuff open and just leave the trash and garbage on the street. So it's really a mess. And if I were next to anybody, I'd be blowing my top. Which is next subject, which is we have another issue, which is number one with Orange County. When they pick up the trash, a lot of things tend to fall out, and no one's picking it up. So we have trash, plastic, garbage all over the place. People have stuff on their yards. As I was coming here, I noticed at the top of Local Point Drive, right at the rotary, which is what I call it,
Yeah.
there's a lid to a 5-gallon drum sitting right on the right at the top of the street.
I think that actually fell off a work truck.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the kind of thing that,
No,
That
that's
was good.
when they go through, they're rushing that. When they do that, because I've seen the trash, I've had to pick it up at my house, even like stuff, bags that come out of there, or even a box that come out of recycling, and it's on there, and I guess, some people pick it up if you see it when you get your stuff, others it just blows around.
and that's the problem. We have that problem all throughout the subdivision. We have plastic trash literally everywhere. Right, the house next to you, there's a bottle that's sitting on their front lawn that just appeared there after the trash pickup. I pick up stuff off my lawn all the time. It's coming, a lot of it, from when, on Thursdays, when they pick up the stuff and they dump it, things fall off the truck and it's just sitting there. So we are living with trash literally on everybody's lawn. And we need to have like a community cleanup of some sort. Maybe if we have to pay Brighton to come through and do a pickup or something like that, it would probably be a good idea. But the other thing that's happening is those two houses that are being built on Emerald Chase Drive, they've left a lot of refuse that has blown off of that, it's blown into that retention pond. Now the water's at a high mark, but until it went to the high mark, there was styrofoam, plastic bags, a lot of construction waste that was lying all around the shoreline of that stuff. And it's still sitting there, it's just right now happens to be underwater. Our lake doctor or whoever's doing that stuff might be prevailed upon to dredge along the edge of the ponds, but it's really bad. And the birds that peck along that thing are probably picking up plastic and eating that stuff. We literally have our own Pacific garbage dump in this place, and we're living with it, and it's pretty unsightly. If I were in this place looking to buy, I would be completely turned off by all the trash I'm seeing generally in the neighborhood. When I walk my dogs up to the front, I see trash on everybody's lawn, and it's just people are just be complacent about it, and it's a real turnoff. And then I gotta say it, and I put it in my email to you. We have somebody who is, I hate to say this, got a fetish about what they do with their dog waste. And I dump my stuff, but either the one at the front gate, the one at the back, down by the pond on Emerald Chase, there's somebody who either very carefully bags the stuff up and either drops it right by the waste station, or will put it very carefully at the entrance at the opening of the thing, hanging it out, so that if you want to put your stuff in, you have to push theirs in too. It is something that's been going on. I have to ask you guys, do you have a TV camera that you can train on, the one at the front entrance?
Yes, we can do that. And to that point, I did have a homeowner reach out to me and ask if we had any plans to do the dog food DNA thing.
Oh boy.
No, many neighborhoods are doing it. A lot of neighborhoods are doing
That's
it.
not a bigger problem because the person who's tying it up in the bags and leaving the bags on people's lawns or on their, the lids of the water meters. I've seen that happen. Ursula, who's, you know who she is. They were leaving two bags on the cover of her water meter. Carefully wrapped, tied up, and then they leave them. Or they leave them on the ground next to the boxes. So this is somebody who's a fetish or
But it's kind of like the
I
diaper.
will say this, that during the hurricane, we came back, the last hurricane, and I made eye contact with somebody who was very nicely opening my bag of yard waste and putting the bag into my yard waste.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, and I didn't say anything to that person, and I would like to have said something, but I didn't. But that's the kind of thing that's been going on. So we've got a problem with some guy with a fetish, and we need to catch this person. And probably up front is the best way to do it on video.
Yeah, let me see what we can do to adjust. You know, so we do have the capability we can look, because the exact scenario that you state there does happen at the front one too. When I go up there, it's there. I mean, it's not so much hasn't been an issue with the one in Boca, but the front one and the Water's Edge one has been the issue. So let me see what I can do with
And there's been a lot of trash left at that rec area too. They're not throwing away stuff.
If we can adjust the pickup schedule with the one up front, that one tends to be moving, dumping them faster than the others.
Okay.
Yeah, it's community.
I have 3 dogs, and I'm just about picking it up. But from where I walk, I don't see a lot on the lawns. Occasionally I do, and I suspect those are people who are guests or something like that. But those are the main issues. My wife, I texted her while you guys were working. She's complaining about the roofs, but I see that you guys are on the roofs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, It's been making steady progress, as you can tell from when we started tracking this. It's just getting through, the entire process where, some people get on it right away, other people takes 3 notices before it gets there, and then, obviously it chews up cycle time before it can actually get resolved.
I did want to also, I mentioned this the last time, and I don't know if you guys have any plans to do anything about it. Do you want to do anything about doing a short-term rental issue or proposing a short-term rental lease amendment?
Yeah, I've got that with Tom on that, because I passed it over to him, so it's on one of the punch list items, because I know we put the bylaw item in effect, but, obviously to go a little further, we would have to amend the covenants, which on that one, I think people will be open and amenable to that one, so it's
The places
just.
that I know are short-term rentals, I tend to see about 6 cars in each one. But I did want to share this picture with you, because they say picture's worth 1,000 words. This was taken by me on January 1st of this year. This is a house, you can probably figure out which one it is. This is the morning of January 1st. And this was a short-term rental.
Yeah, I know that.
Oh, was it the fireworks?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. We've discussed this one before. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what you get when you get a short-term rental. Yeah, and that's the point. This is what you get when you get a short-term rental. No, that was what they did on night of New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was there sitting there on January 1st. And that's what happens when you get a short-term rental. They don't care. They bagged it up, really, they took it, but that's, people out of the door on New Year's Eve.
Short-term rentals.
July 4th, there were a lot of fireworks in that neighborhood.
Yes.
Large ones.
Yeah, there was a couple houses down where you could do it. Wow.
They were
Right,
really
and-
large.
and it was- I mean, it's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, especially when you have people with knives and everything like that, and the refuse, you don't know where it's going. Especially because they were shooting off in the back of their house. They weren't even, usually in the dry pond, we didn't have that. It was at somebody's house.
And I mean, and the yard here was very small. It went over several houses
The
over.
first house in on the right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, is there a restriction on the size you can use in a neighborhood?
That I don't know. We would have to look into that.
I don't think so.
I mean, I'm more than happy to look into because we do get complaints on the fireworks, as you can see from Paul's picture, and what we had at the 4th of July. I mean, it was just a little bit ridiculous.
That property with the renters, we may be able to ask the homeowners to get more firm with their cleaners. Because I know they usually have cleaners always come in right after guests, so they should be cleaning it up.
The problem with any of this stuff is it's always after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
And so having a prohibition on the short-term rentals, especially when you're so close to Disney, it may be their quote-unquote right to rent do what they want with their property, but it's also your right to not have to live next to a hotel. And that's really the issue. We bought into a residential neighborhood, the zoning here is residential, not commercial. And when they rent it out, it's commercial use. And that's a violation of zoning in Orange County.
Yeah, Orange County will not allow short-term rental anywhere in any house in Orange County.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
And there is a move, and I know stuff because I am doing Tom does. There was a move afoot, and it will be happening again, to prohibit our type of association from amending their documents to prohibit short-term rentals. That type of amendment failed 2 years ago. I advised my clients to amend their documents to adopt a prohibition on short-term rentals before something like that goes through the legislature. So it's important to do this kind of thing
So we'd be
now.
grandfathered in?
If you do it,
Yes.
Yeah, because they can't interfere your contract, and the documents are a contract. But if you don't have something in your documents, and the legislature does something like that, to say that you can't amend your documents to prohibit short-term rentals, you're stuck.
Yeah, and I know that is picking up steam from what I've been hearing for the next legislature, trying to make a comeback.
And the reason
they'll
it
keep
didn't
going back
happen-
and back on this.
The reason it didn't happen this session was because DeSantis said, if you don't rent in the West Bank, we're not gonna allow Airbnb to do business in Florida.
Yeah.
So now they've worked out their situation, they're gonna come in this legislative session and try to do that again. Okay?
So let's put a target, like by the end of the year, we should have it on our webinar.
Well, it's with Tom right now, so
I'll
do
ask
you
them
know?
where it's in, because we
Okay.
should have a draft, and then we can review a draft of an amendment, next, and then we'll have to go through the process of distributing, setting up for a community vote, whatnot.
Yeah, we have like 5, 6 months.
Mhm.
5 months.
Yeah. All right, yeah, we'll take that.
You know I'm on
Yeah.
CNF law, you know,
Yeah.
I've been doing this since 1995, so I'm
Yeah,
pretty aware of what's going on.
yeah, and then you hear the rumblings that it comes back again, and, you know, one of these times it's gonna stick, and then, you know.
It does, definitely, because the legislature is very amenable to pressure.
Mhm. Yeah, unfortunately. Did that cover you, Paul?
Just two things. So piggyback on what you just saying. One of the things that they were doing when the garbage is picked up,
Mm-hmm.
they used to be in vertical position. Now what they're doing is they're picking it up and they're just dumping it down. So when you look at our street when they come, I've seen
Yeah, they're
it,
all tilted
they're
every
all
which way.
tilted, they turn over, they're flat, and sometimes they don't get all the garbage again and it does fall out.
Mhm.
So maybe something has to be done to tell them that when
Yeah.
when they put them back down, it should be done vertically,
Well, we
not just
we
thrown.
need to contact the county.
Yeah, they're
Yeah, I
not,
know.
they shouldn't just be
I've
thrown.
dealt with them before for the specific company that they use, so I'll call down there and put together a
County
list
is
and then
very
call them.
difficult.
So now with the new
They don't
system,
listen
they have
very
well.
only the driver, right?
Mhm.
They used to have 2 people, one driver
Yeah.
and one picking up all the leftovers.
Bags.
Yeah,
Gotta increase margin.
But
Yeah.
now it's what, computerized, right? Isn't
Yeah,
it with
the whole computer
they-
is enormous.
one
Well,
less
somebody
one
can-
less person now.
Yeah, but we need to complain about it, because it's really making a mess of it.
Because
It
if
is,
we
and it's
have
getting
to
worse.
have somebody come out and pick up trash like once a week, and we're paying for it, then they're gonna have to pay us for it. You know, to pick up after them. So either way, we've gotta come to they need to slow down or need to recalibrate something, or they're just gonna pay us to have somebody come in and pick
And
up
maybe
trash.
this is an issue for CAI to get on the county about, because if
That's
this is a problem that's common to all of the HOAs in the county, that kind of pressure will be heard by the county.
Have you
Yeah.
heard
Ken, you
this,
see any of
Ken?
that?
Have you seen it?
I heard that.
No, but have you
seen it?
experienced, have you had any other neighborhoods complaining?
No.
about it?
No.
Okay.
Well, we got a meeting next week, we'll ask.
Yeah, got a good forum there.
The second thing
Yes.
is to thank you for starting to put down the pallets.
Mhm.
Of course.
You know that, I told you half
Yep.
the pallets put down, and you promised the second half,
Mhm.
and to also check the sprinklers.
Yeah, the weather's been
So I just
horrible.
wanted to make
Yep,
sure you follow up.
and then we should have the other pallet out directly, and then irrigation should hopefully be out tomorrow, based on the rain, if not Monday, because it's time for their monthly check, and then they're gonna change out the head. And they've got to repair the timer box too, because like I said, that we're having issues with that after I think it got hit by lightning on that, so, that'll all get taken care of at the same time,
So I
so.
appreciate that, and I'm still waiting on the great knowledge.
Yes, ma'am, in the back.
How are you? Hey guys, first of all, thank you so much. It's a lot of work you do for everybody here, and I really appreciate it. Has to be a lot to do with trees, with all the things that you can everything that you have done is amazing. The first time here, trees, garden, roofs, everything is just good. And only point I would put a little more to the guards. I mean, you should have made a little bit more that because this is part of the family, you know? It's important that Paul spoke for me, I think, without knowing, because I was going with the same point. I was going with the same point and I was painting pictures. He's a trash can every morning.
Yeah.
He's a trash can every morning, everything. And I will add a little thing here, not only the force. Yes, the force is important sometimes. A little bit of the sense of community. I want to express myself. My son is finishing Rollins College.
Okay.
And there was a very interesting guy that away from Rollins College that was Mr. Rollins. And he talks about the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about the culture of the neighborhood. What is culture of the neighborhood? I do sometimes, now I'm starting working there, so I cannot do that. Sometimes I finish my work in the morning, take my car and go and pick up some trash. Okay, you know, so it's these little things. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm gonna clean the trash that people on purpose do, but it's a little bit of the sense of the neighborhood. I think we can work that a little bit with the board that we have at the exit.
Mm-hmm.
And even messages, I don't know, culture, corporate culture.
Yeah.
We love our neighbor. We love when our neighbor is clean. Or it's good. We love these kind of things. I mean, the things that we love each other. Kind of the neighborhood saying, like a community. I think we're lack of that.
We can add that to the newsletter too.
Nice messages, you know, like I was saying, take
Mhm.
time with this little boy and you respond positive. I think that would help. The way they say hi, the caring, I'm expressing myself in school is important. It's important. We're friends. We're people safe, you know. And I miss my flowers in the circle this year. The annuals. I personally miss it big time. Personally, I love my annuals in the circle. I know some people think that this is not an investment. It's not an investment. It's kind of.
We still have the annuals are in the fourth
It's not
spot.
the fourth, yes.
Yes.
It used to be the fourth thing with the beautiful four arrows. I don't know. It can be a point or not, but just express myself. That would be great next year to the annual. It's nice, you know. It's good to come to a beautiful place, and this is a beautiful place. What can we do for people to respect the circle, the stock in the circle?
Wow.
Oh, that's been brought up. Oh, yeah.
That's a tough one.
Because it's becoming
That counts,
dangerous.
so-
Yes. At this point, becoming.
Sheriffs. Yeah, we've done that in the past where we had the sheriff come during, and we usually have them like during the beginning of the school year. So, as a visual presence, we're more during the day than usually when we have them at the nighttime area. But I mean, we can do that again.
That's my point again, Mark. We're using force, but that's my point again. Yes, let's use it for the sheriff. Nice things. Be careful, we're going to stop. We're all stopping this because we care about each other. These kind of things that sometimes makes a place. I think so. I think that can work. I don't know.
May
Yeah.
gentle but present.
Okay.
I mean, it's something you gotta think, if you wanna make people stop, put in a, not huge, but a gentle speed bump.
3-foot speed bump.
Yeah.
But something like that would certainly make people stop, in order to get through it. It doesn't have to be big, but it's
The only thing that, because I think we had this discussion a year and a half. We had a lot of emails back and forth on it. If you do a speed bump, is it only going to be on the side when you're entering the circle? Will people then not go around, which is then going the wrong way? I mean, I've seen people try and avoid everything they can.
Both of the entry and exit.
Oh, just for entry and exit? Yeah, it's just we've brought it up before. We've thought about it. I mean, we can throw it back in to think about it.
police officer, and
Oh.
I did see water one time, and I think it works well.
Yeah, because
You have a police officer time to time finding it. Yeah, well.
Yeah, but it's also
Now,
a cost.
Let me get into the question, was I stopping, wasn't I? But I think if you put a speed bump in each stop sign, you're talking about four speed bumps, it's a permanent solution. People are gonna go over that, they're gonna feel that jerk, so I think that if you do it, you probably solve the problem.
I mean, it's definitely a solution to the problem. It also comes with, its negatives as well. Some people think that yellow speed bumps are unappealing. If you don't make them yellow, then someone might not see them and hit them too hard. It's got its negatives. We do have to, we have to look at positives and negatives on it. Like I said, we did about a year and a half ago think about it because we had the issue and it was actually pretty bad. We had people flying through the circle at that point. We'll look at it again.
We have people flying down the streets too.
I know, yeah. It's just
stop sign.
There was a lady a bunch of years back got a ticket for 58
in here.
the neighborhood. That's impressive. Well, that's.
Does she hold the record? She wanted to hold the record.
I'm not saying.
In the
Well,
street.
there's case law.
Yes, I would check, because the one in Boca Point is grandfathered. Because that
Yeah.
was put in early. I believe it's part of the community. I think you need to just check. I mean, there may be case law that says.
I know.
It's a private road.
So the point is, you're not putting it, you're not putting it in a place where people have to stop.
Right.
And most of the
We can look at it. I mean, I know that I get emails from the CAA cops, people that the speed bumps and all the rest of the speed cameras and then the, what's it called, budget speed limit you're going, or the rate of speed, whatever,
it's not really
display.
residents, it's the commercial vehicles that are going to get. I mean, FedEx, those giant trucks, when they go over them, they got to go over them really slow. All their packages.
But the speed bumps were not always in the same spot, so.
That's
our agreements, and there are ways, but the last time we looked at this, it was brought up that there was something in the county that said, but check. I mean,
We'll have to look into it, yeah.
Yeah, we'll look into it.
There's a lot of
I mean,
positives and
that
negatives
to me
to
would
it.
be a better, longer-term solution than having to readjust officer schedules all the time and try to proactively manage
The
that.
expense of officers,
Yeah.
for how long, you know, at what time does the value?
People define and money.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Money is very important.
Yeah, and most,
Time is 1, 2 times, they will never do it.
yeah, and most of the time, funny enough, if someone gets pulled over in the neighborhood, guess who gets to hear about it? We do, because you're upset that there's police officers in the community. So it comes back to us negatively. So it's, we'll have to weigh our options. Yeah. See which one's got the greatest value to
We'll
them.
take a note and take a look at that.
Yeah.
Did that cover?
The last thing, I have a Airbnb right next to my house for 1 year. I have a hotel next to my house for 4 years.
Okay.
I wonder what the court is doing that doesn't happen again.
Are you talking about like a rental?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
Airbnb.
a hotel.
Is it posted on Airbnb?
Oh.
I was in my house 3 p.m. and suddenly an old gentleman knocks my door. So I called somebody from the neighborhood and I look what happened, that's reality. And I opened my door and the guy was bleeding. He was bleeding. And I opened my door at 3 p.m. and said, man, what happened? I was in my mind, he was coming. Or grandfather with somebody who came to visit. I took him to my sink in my kitchen, to wash. I took the bandage, I helped the guy. I was talking to a totally stranger coming from nowhere, paying us $70 in a room next to my house.
Yeah, we did after that incident, we did have legal action come out on that because the owner was made aware, because if I remember correctly in the scenario, the owners weren't there and the son said they were using it or somebody was renting it and they were using it, like subletting it for Airbnb. That should have been resolved at this point, but I'll follow up.
Yes, but next for future occasion, but I don't want that to happen to anybody.
Yeah.
No, of course not. No.
We have done something for everybody to know.
And that, and I recommend anybody, if you see it on Airbnb, I try to check once a week.
The perfect
And then you
is
just
the gate.
let us know, and then we'll send the attorney.
I think the perfect people is the gate. The gate person sees, I mean, every 3 days visitors coming, or every 2 days, I think.
But if they're calling ahead and they're registering these guests, they can't stop. They can't. They can send a message and say, I think we have an Airbnb, which they've done in the past, but they can't leave. They can't stop if the homeowner calls and say, hey, I let Joe, Jane, and Jerry in. Then that is what it is, unfortunately. But but if we see any of that activity, we have multiple times in the past. We do send that over directly to Larson Associates, and they get a certified letter out to the homeowner on that, which usually resolves itself pretty quick. Sometimes they'll try it, they'll lay low and then come back or try something else.
It's not effective. It's not effective because by the time you do anything, you're gone.
Yes.
About the tree trimming this year, last year the big issue was you wouldn't cut the house side of the tree unless the homeowner okayed to go on the property.
Yep.
And a lot of trees that were looking terrible, rental people didn't even know they had to ask. Out-of-state owners were never contacted. You said you're going to raise the size if it's uniform. But you're going to play this game again where you got to get okay. I mean, you can't do anything on the sidewalk side without having branches and stuff falling on the property. You got to walk in there and pick it up. Or go in there with a little bucket truck to cut it.
And it'll be part of the communication. But again, this is not something. I mean, we're not just going to arbitrarily go on someone's property and start cutting.
Yeah, it's a liability.
What you should do though is get plenty of lead time before you start this project and send out a lot of letters to get okay from everybody.
And it will be part of the communication cycle, but we haven't even figured out the vendor yet. So as soon as I understand the vendor timing and start backing up I've got to have when they can start, how long it's going to take, and then back it up from there. So I can, get communication out. If it's a mailing, fine. If it's an email, fine. If it's on the website, it'll be broadcast on that.
And it'll tell us the days that they're coming?
Yes, because that's one of the things they're going to have to, specify when they're going to be on site. We have to leave the clearance with them to get in at the front, so they have to tell us the days that their folks are going to, regardless of the vendor. Obviously, tree trimming is very impacted by weather, so
you can even put it on the front door.
And that's an option too. We can do that, and then again, we'll work to figure that schedule out once we get the right, once we choose the vendor and then back it up. We'll make sure we have every communication tool leverage on the site, so it's not so chaotic as it was last year with requests and trying to fulfill requests, and that just turned into a complete, how can we say,
They were
rolling
visiting the
dumpster fire.
same tree 2 or 3 times. And that was ridiculous.
Yeah, but that was because somebody wasn't happy with that, and that, we're gonna leave that to the tree trimmers to trim, and we'll get the stuff in. If there's any rework, it's gonna have to be done at the end, way at the end. I mean, we've got to get through the first initial pass, the cycle, evaluate how the baseline of the project is, and then if there's rework, then we go back and identify the rework and do it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be much more coordinated and controlled than it was last time, which was a complete, and I'll take responsibility for it as my failure. It just got out of control, the requests and all that kind of stuff wasn't managed correctly. So lessons learned, we'll correct it and we'll make sure it's taken care of the right way this time.
So if the homeowner is not contacted, but the branches are on your property, how do you get that branch cut? What would be your option? Because that happened to me with the.
Are homeowners allowed to cut it
She's not
themselves?
there, she's renting,
See,
and the
yeah.
branches were just hanging all over the driveway.
Yeah, well, hopefully,
Well, the arborist is gonna clean whatever needs to be done for the tree, right?
If
Yeah,
it
but
comes
not
down to that,
on
we're
others'
looking at rental
That's our tree.
issues, people rent, and if we do the right communication this way, the renter shouldn't have any, issue understanding what's going on. If they need a cut, they're gonna get a cut. I would recommend then, if we're gonna have those, it should be handled on a one-off basis. If you say, my neighbor rents his house, I don't know if anybody's gonna trim them, I would talk to the renter and just get, sign out, get the permission as a one-off, and then we'll just get it cut that way. If they're, severely, overhanging, your property or whatnot. So we'll handle it in that regard. Yes.
I don't believe this is an issue with the problem we had yesterday, but I've been going out on the website and looking at documents, and particularly the financials. And for 2017, there's no year-end report from the CPA.
Okay.
And 2018, there's no December report or a CPA report.
2018 CPA report has not been completed as of yet.
Okay.
We have not gotten that, but I'll look at the other two because those should not be an issue. Let me do that when I'm going through my testing of the documents, and I can make sure that they're there. If they're there, or if they're just not coded correctly, or I'll get them there, one way or the other.
Yeah, it's not showing up in the
Yeah,
list,
and
so I can't click on it.
And sometimes it won't show because when we post it, you have to change the authorization for profile. So maybe it just didn't get clicked right or whatever. I'll take care of those two. And as soon as the CPA report gets sent to us, then we can move that out there. But we have not received it as of yet. Yes, sir.
Well, I was here on one of the last meetings of the May Cup that we entered with an appeal. I came here as to inform that we entered with an appeal from BCC regarding to the DCA recommendation for approval on a request of the house located at 8701 City Oak to extend the limit to reduce the distance that's supposed to have from 50 feet to 31. And I came that meeting to tell the board that I was being an appeal of this. I even had a meeting with you. And I'm very happy to inform that we won. So I was at the BC on July 2nd because the meeting was set for May 17th, but Dr. Gonzalez, the owner of 8701, asked for a delay, and then was done on July the 2nd. So July the 2nd, we have, I'm here to inform official and for the records. I have a video and audio recording of the meeting that is available to every one of you. And thanks God, we've been able to have our appeal prevailing, and then exactly because it was illegal. So the commissioners there, in the end, they went against the BZA recommendation for approval, which, again for the records, was against the staff. So the staff said that this was illegal. And the BZA, on a very strange scenario, decided to approve 7-0. Then I entered in an appeal, and thanks, even the commissioners were there, we showed them the complete illegality of what was being requested because they didn't fill any of the 6 points of the code. So this was denied. And this is good for our Tarapuri community because this would be just a start to degrade the values of our properties. I have, this is for the record of this meeting, and also I have a pen drive that's over 600 megabytes. I have video and audio recording available for the board and available for any of our neighbors that if they want to see. But again, I don't know what they're going to do next. If they go up on this, we go again, because they will not accept anything illegal in our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you again for all the work you've done, as well as the constant, the good communication on the updates. So I know that you've been in contact with Mike and you sent me emails. I appreciate that. But to see where it's going, it keeps.
And I thank you very much to Mike and for all the support that we received from you guys.
The first review when they approved it, it surprised the licensed professional engineer. Because you had your criteria.
It's complete nonsense.
So-
In the very beginning, the DGA was unbelievable out of any of standards because of the technical stuff during the meeting on the records said that this was illegal. And the DGA decided to approve. So we made an appeal. Of course, it costs some money, but we go to the end. If they come, still request on the second instance or third, we go against this because this for sure would degrade our community in the future. It's okay. I'm ready to go. I don't like the legal things.
Thank you again. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the
This is
work.
for the
Okay, yeah, great. I can add that to what was said. Thank you for that. You saved me having to download the.
Saved me a lot of time, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Other items from the floor? If not, I will entertain the motion here to adjourn at 8:13 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.